Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another vlog. I have a few more stacks of DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks to show you from my recent travels to various different shops, as well as some Amazon and online buys from sales during the fall. I also have some more questions from my good friend Jonathan from a letter that I will answer near the end of this video. I have a couple thoughts to share when it comes to some movie trailers, not necessarily when it comes to some upcoming releases on Blu-ray or 4K, but I will also share a little bit of that because there's a couple announcements that I thought were worth mentioning. Um, Before I get into showing a handful of stuff that I got, which honestly isn't all of it, I picked up so much recently that I wanted to keep it a little short because I wanted to leave time for other things in this vlog. So I'll probably one of these days I'll do a complete like 4K collection. I think that would be a fun video to do someday. Or I'll do another DVD update, and maybe I'll do a DVD, not necessarily a DVD update. I'll do a DVD collection video that's focusing solely on the television shows that I have. I think that might be kind of a fun video to do one of these days. But before I do that, I'll give a quick little channel update. Also, show off this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre hat I got from Fright Rags. I'm a pretty big fan of it already. I think it looks pretty cool. I've been wanting to get a Texas Chainsaw Massacre hat for a while now. Even though it's not my all-time favorite horror franchise, I do like the first film quite a bit, and I love the second movie. And I will be revisiting and reviewing all of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies just in time for Thanksgiving on this channel. So this is perfect. Now, when it comes to an update for my channel, I got a handful of requests from Brock as well as a few other people that I'm going to be shifting my focus to. But I also have a few other random sort of stuff I want to talk about. The next review is actually going to be of Barbarian, a film that I personally didn't feel lived up to the hype, but I still admittedly liked some parts of it. It's one of those movies where I was disappointed by it because of the direction that the writer took, but it's also one of those films where I'm appreciative of the fact that it went into a different sort of direction and it wasn't just trying to do the same old thing. It wasn't just another reboot or sequel or remake. So it's one of those films that I'm very conflicted on. So that'll be an interesting video in terms of getting all my thoughts in order. And then after that, I'm going to be diving into the rest of the requests from Brock, which are House of Darkness, another horror film that came out this year featuring Justin Long as a member of the cast. I'm going to be reviewing Interview with a Vampire, a film called House of the Devil, which is a film directed by Ty West, which honestly I'll probably do two other Ty West reviews as well because I watched his directorial debut, The Roost, and I also watched The Innkeepers, and I think I could do a couple short videos on those two leading up to House of the Devil, or in the case of The Innkeepers, after House of the Devil. And Tourist Trap, the 70s classic horror film. That's another request. I also have Avatar. That was requested. I'm also going to try to fit in Batman Mask of the Phantasm in honor of Kevin Conroy, who passed away recently. Um, so yeah, I got a fair amount of things planned for this month, and of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. I know I still need to finish the Hellraiser franchise. That might be something that we'll have to wait till like January or sometime in 2023. I'm waiting to get my hands on a custom 4K of the new Hellraiser, so that's kind of why I'm waiting a bit to do that. Um, but that's still gonna be happening. I'm still gonna finish that franchise, and there's a few other things that I definitely have planned as well. I got some holiday stuff that I got planned for December. I'm finally going to be sharing my thoughts on Nightmare Before Christmas. I might actually try to fit that in late November, maybe post Thanksgiving. Um, but it just depends on what's going on with my schedule at work. Because when you work retail, Black Friday weekend is a absolute fucking nightmare, and it's gonna be a rough couple days. It's gonna be a rough weekend for me, but I'm gonna do the best I can to make it work, and it'll be some good money at least. Also, before I get started with the update, I want to share another update. um, I actually got robbed. I didn't get robbed at my house or anything. It was like a couple weeks ago. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went to Winco, which is a grocery store here in Vancouver, Washington, with my stepdad, and I left my backpack in the passenger side of his pickup, and we were only in the store for like 30 to 40 minutes, and then come back to the parking lot. The window was busted, my bag is gone, and I should have known better, but it's one of those things where I reached a certain comfort level with where I have been living for over a decade. We have been shopping at that Winco for years and had no incidents whatsoever. So it was one of those things where I just felt it was safe. I thought it wasn't really that big of a deal. I didn't think anything was going to happen, and I was wrong. Somebody busted out the window, stole my backpack, and I had my phone in there, so I had to get a new phone. I had to log into the account that it's tied into and change the password, and I had to call T-Mobile and have them shut down the old phone. I had to call the police, do all that. And now I'm paying not only for the old phone that was stolen, but I'm also paying for the new phone because I didn't think about getting insurance because I didn't think it was anything that was that big of a deal. So now I have to deal with that. So it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. My wallet was on me, so they didn't get access to anything vital. Like I said, I changed the password before they were even able to do anything with it. I got a hold of T-Mobile so they could shut everything down on their end before they could do anything. And just in case, I did get a new debit card and cancel the old one just in case that there was some information that they might have access to. So it was just a hassle. It was definitely an eye opener for me. And nowadays, if I'm bringing my backpack, I'm just gonna take it in the store, or I'm just not gonna take it with me. I'm just gonna take my wallet, and that's it. I'm gonna leave my phone at home. But that's the story of how I got robbed. But let's get into showing some titles. Uh, Here we have Angst, a film that I actually reviewed on this channel. It's a rough watch, but I thought it was quite good. So I got this Cult Epics release from yeah, it's a Cult Epic. I don't know why I thought it was from another company, but yeah, it's a Cult Epics release. I don't have that many titles from them, but this is definitely the definitive release to own of this movie. I also got Stephen King's It, the original, the TV movie, because I only had it on DVD. Big fan of this. I already reviewed this on the channel as well. Just search It. You should be able to find it. Um, I got Dario Argento's Opera for the Dario Argento collection. Only had this on DVD. This was actually out of print for a bit. The Scorpion releasing edition of the film, but Scorpion actually found some extra stock and they put them up for sale during during, I believe, their pre Black Friday or their fall sale. So I decided to get it then because the prices were just going way up on Amazon or eBay or anywhere else. I know there's a limited like 3 disc or 5 disc set, but I just never was really able to get my hands on that one. And I'm okay with the regular Blu-ray. I got Marked for Death. This for the Steven Seagal collection. Um, this is not one of my favorites of his, but it's still really fun. It's still a good movie. And the Blu-ray's not out of print, but well, it kind of technically is. So it's kind of a hard release to find for like a good price. Finally got it for a good price off of it from an Amazon seller recently. Um, so yeah, Marked for Death only had the DVD, and it's one of those DVDs that does not upscale well at all on modern TVs. This double feature of Alien vs. Predator and Alien vs. Predator Requiem. I had Requiem because it was sent to me by somebody a while back, but I didn't have the first film on Blu-ray. I only had it on DVD. So I got that for the collection. I got Darkness because this is an out of print release. I know that I have a double feature with that film and Below, but I thought, might as well just get it for the collection. It was pretty cheap. Got The Northman. This is only like $5. It was a really good deal. I think it was around there, like $5.99 or something used. So I got The Northman. I also got the How to Train Your Dragon Ultimate Collection. Got this from a place called Stuff. So that was a pretty good deal on that. It has all the films as well as the shorts. I also got Nightmare Alley. Uh, Guillermo del Toro's latest film. I know he did an anthology series on Netflix called Cabinet of Curiosities. I definitely need to check that out one of these days. I know Peter Weller was in one of the short films that was featured in that series, so I definitely need to get around to watching that. I also got Studio 666, the Foo Fighters horror film. Here we got a few more 4K releases. I got The Greatest Showman, which is another request, by the way. This is another paid request that I will definitely get around to this month. The Greatest Showman. That was requested by a good friend of mine named Will. And here we have Doom with The Rock, the 4K release. It was actually on sale recently through Amazon for like a pre-Black Friday sale. Here we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the Turbine release. I got this from a seller on Facebook. It was a pretty good deal, especially for an import. And it looks really good. It looks good. I actually think it's a bit of an upgrade over the previous release that I have from Dark Sky. That I think it's like the 30th anniversary or the 25th anniversary release, and it definitely has better sound. That's one thing that I was really disappointed by when it comes to the Dark Sky release is the quality of the sound. I felt the sound mix was really weak, and for a film like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where the sound is really vital when it comes to the overall experience, I thought that was really disappointing. This has a Dolby Atmos track on it, and if you have a Dolby Atmos setup, it makes a significant difference. So yeah, I'm really glad to have that. Speaking of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I also have another Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4K, but I'll show that soon enough. But for now, I'll show Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. This is the Arrow Video release. I am a big fan of this film. I think it's a great movie. Definitely has Michael Rooker's best acting performance in it. And it was one of those titles that was on sale through Arrow Video for their fall sale. I also got this from Arrow. It wasn't technically on sale, but I had a coupon, like some credit. So I used that for the whole purchase. So I wound up getting a decent deal on this. So yeah, this is the 4K release of Flatliners. really underrated film by Joel Schumacher. Um, and I mentioned it. Here it is. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, the release from Vinegar Syndrome. This is a gorgeous release. This is definitely the definitive version to own of this film. I actually watched this film again recently in 4K, and the transfer is terrific. The sound mix is stellar, and it ports over all the features from the previous release. You know, from the Shout Factory, the Scream Factory version, as well as the MGM release, plus a few other new stuff. So, if you're a fan of the film, definitely a release that is worth picking up. I don't know if the limited edition with the slipcover and the hard case is still in stock on their website, but I think they will have like the regular version available, which will still have plenty of copies. So definitely worth getting if you're a fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which I am. I love that movie. It's wild, it's weird, it's a blast. I know it's not for everyone, but it speaks to my sensibilities and my tastes in a lot of different ways. I like my films gonzo, crazy, wild, over the top. That's why Frank Henenlotter is one of my favorite filmmakers, as well as Toby Hooper or um, someone like Larry Cohen. But this isn't as over the top, but it's still a classic film, the Amityville Horror. This is the 4K release from Vinegar Syndrome. Another instance of the definitive release to own of this film. This has a new transfer and has a ton of features. It ports over all the features from even the second sight release in the UK. So yeah, it's the Amityville Horror 4K. Then we have some more Blu-rays. The Hills Have Eyes unrated collection. This is the two remakes. I mean, the Hills Have Eyes 2 isn't a remake of the Hills Have Eyes Part 2, but it has the remake of Hills Have Eyes as well as the second one. And I've been wanting to get these on Blu-ray for a few years, and I only had them on DVD. And when I tried to get them on Blu-ray, they went out of print. So then the prices just went way up. So I actually went to a store called Music Millennium in Portland, and they had this set, and it was only $20, and it was a steal. And I really made me happy because I'd been trying to upgrade the DVDs I have of those two films for quite a long time. So that was awesome. This is a film that sounded interesting and heard some good things about it. I really like the concept of a horror film taking place inside of a horror maze or a haunt, and heard a lot of good things about this from critics. Haunt. This is the release from Scorpion or Ronin. Yeah, Ronin Flicks. Ronin Flicks. This is their collector's edition, which is jam packed full of features. I know there's another release that was a little more expensive that had like a couple other extra bonuses, but I never saw it. I haven't even seen this movie, so I didn't think it was worth spending the extra money on like the deluxe edition. So I just went with the regular version. Uh, here's speaking of Scorpion releasing, here is one of their recent releases, The Killer Elite, the original with James Caan and Robert Duvall. Um, I haven't seen this, but I saw the trailer in a trailer compilation, and I believe it was the one that my friend Matt put together for me, and it looked like it legitimately could be a fun action film. So I definitely wanted to pick it up, and Scorpion obliged and came out with a new release with interviews with Bo Hopkins and a production assistant and a new restoration of the film. So the Killer Elite. Here we have a couple more Arrow video releases. We have Deadly Games. Uh, Another one of those fairly obscure 80s, I think, yeah, slashers. from that finally got some exposure thanks to Arrow. I still haven't seen the film, but I've always been kind of curious about it because Steve Railsback is, I think he's the star, or he's one of the stars, and I'm a big fan of his. And then we also have Girls' Night Out from Arrow, the infamous slasher featuring the killer wearing a teddy bear suit. I just thought that was just ridiculous and silly. But yeah, for the slasher collection, I definitely wanted to get that. So we got that one. The next Blu-rays are all from Powerhouse Indicator. They had a sale, which was ridiculously good. I think it was like 60 something bucks shipped from the UK to the US for like 9 Blu-rays. So I got the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, and pretty much all of these are region free as well. Got the Golden Voyage of Sinbad. We got Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. I also got the Collector, which I saw this for the first time recently, and I was really surprised by it. I thought it was quite good, so I was glad to get that on Blu-ray because I only had the DVD. See No Evil with Mia Farrow. Bloody New Year, film that I've seen. I think I might have reviewed a while back. It's a trippy, weird little movie that I thought was at least kind of okay. Ghost of Mars for the John Carpenter collection. Um, Gardens of Stone, Francis Ford Coppola drama about the aftermath of the Vietnam War, I believe, or yeah, I believe it's yeah. This is a story of the war at home when it comes to Vietnam, and then there's Hardcore with George C. Scott. So thought that was a really good deal. So I went after that. Then the rest of this stuff is just TV shows. TV shows on DVD. I did also get they're boxed up somewhere. So I didn't really want to dig them out right now. But speaking of TV shows on DVD, I got Monk the complete series with Tony Shalhoub because I've been wanting to revisit that show. I I enjoyed the series quite a bit. I always remember watching it with my aunt whenever I would stay over at her place because she was a big fan of the show. So I got that. I also got the Larry Sanders. I think it's called the Larry Sanders Show. Uh, the complete series, and it's the Shout Factory release. It's not the most recent cheap jack release of the film by Mill Creek. This is the out of print. I believe it's not. I guess it's not technically out of print, but it's the Shout Factory release, which has all of the bonuses as well as a booklet, and is definitely the definitive version of the show to own. And I also got Monty Python's Flying Circus, the original A&E box set, because it was super cheap. It was only like 20 bucks. And I know that there's a more recent release that came out on Blu-ray and DVD that's remastered and so on. But I have a certain nostalgia associated with the A&E box set because I remember watching bits and pieces of that set at friends' houses when I was in high school. Couple of my friends in high school were really big fans of Monty Python. So I do remember watching that at their place, quite a bit when I would hang out with them. So I have a bit of nostalgia for that set. Also, it's a really unique set. There's a lot of stuff when it comes to the special features on that DVD set specifically that aren't ported over anywhere else, and they're really unique and quirky and really match the overall aesthetic and vibe of the show. So I that's another reason why I wanted to get that set. Um, but back to more TV that I actually can show you. Planet of the Apes. If I can actually speak, sorry. Planet of the Apes, the complete TV series. This is the live action show. Now all I need to do is get the animated show, and now I've got all the Planet of the Apes stuff. Because I have all of the original films on Blu-ray. I have the new series in 4K. And now I have the TV series. And now all I need is the animated series. And I actually know a place where I could probably get it, but I just don't really have the funds right now because when my backpack got stolen, it really took a dent out of me. So that's why That's why it worked out that I got all the stuff that I did when I did, because now I'm pretty set. I'm pretty set in all honesty. I'm not even planning on doing a whole lot of crazy stuff this Black Friday. I might not even do anything. I'm curious to see what's on Vinegar Syndrome when it comes to like what their newest Black Friday release is, but I might not even get it. Like I honestly, because I'm really happy. I'm really happy with where my collection is at right now. I mean, how can I not be? I mean, I got like the Tick. You got the Tick season 1 here, and then I also have season 2. So, yeah, the Tick animated series. I also have the live action show as well. Not the Amazon version, but it's Amazon, so I could just watch that on Amazon Prime. But keeping up with the TV shows, we have Alien Nation, the complete series. Now, I got this from Amazon, and the seller, it was a decent deal, and but the seller kind of lied when it comes to the condition of this set. Like they said it was like good. I don't know about you. I don't think this is good condition when it comes to like how scuffed up the sides are, and also when it comes to the discs themselves, kind of dirty and got fingerprints on them, which I don't think you can really see. But trust me, in person, you can definitely see them. I mean, the discs work, so that's the most important thing. But still, I mean, I just would have liked the seller to be a little more honest. Um, and then I also have this Alien Nation, the Ultimate Movie Collection. Now, this doesn't include the film that inspired the series or started the series in the first place, with James Caan. I have that on Blu-ray from, I believe it's 101 Films. So I have that already. But this is quite a find. I believe it was only 1999, and it was only like $20 or around there from Music Millennium. This absolutely made the entire month for me in October when I found this, because I've been trying to find this particular collection for probably a couple decades. It's been that long, because I remember seeing this for sale at like Fry's Electronics when it was still around and still had like tons of physical media, and it always caught my eye, and I thought it looked kind of interesting, but I didn't have the money, and then I would never find it again anywhere. I would see it on eBay or Amazon, and the prices would be insane and just ridiculous, and I got it. I got it for a very affordable price considering how expensive it normally is online. I mean, it's you're not going to get this for $20. That's not happening. So really psyched about that deal. That was awesome to get the Alien Nation Ultimate Movie Collection finally added to my collection. This has Dark Horizon, Body and Soul, Millennium, The Enemy Within, and the Udara Legacy. It also has features like special features like little featurettes and stuff like that. And that's probably never getting released again. It's not getting. I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, both of these sets came out years ago. The complete series of the TV show, and then the Ultimate Movie Collection. And there's never been any announcement of any re-release or anything. And since it's a Fox property, it's even more unlikely. Because I don't really think Disney is gonna do jack shit with Alien Nation, except maybe remake the show or remake the movie. But yeah, that's Alien Nation. I also got Forever Night, the complete series. Now this is the Mill Creek set, which is kind of. I mean, honestly, I would prefer to get the original series, like the original releases again, volumes 1 through 3. But the problem is, like volume 1 and 2, I think are pretty easy to find, or but volume 3 isn't, so it's one of those kind of things. But the price wasn't too bad for this. I think it was only like 25. And but yeah, I'm not a fan of Mill Creek and their cheap ass box sets. What is this? What is this garbage? What is this? I would honestly rather prefer what they did in the past, where they had a cheap plastic case and they just stacked all the discs on top of each other on a spindle. Honestly, that is better than putting them in cardboard sleeves. But anyway, that's Forever Night. Speaking of Mill Creek, I also got this, the Married with Children set, because it was like really cheap. I think it was only like $9.99 or $14.99 or something. And I have the show complete when it comes to the individual releases from back in the day by Sony, but they don't have like the original music. And I heard that this one, it has the original music, and like it's all in one set, so it takes up less space. But then I checked out the quality of it, and like it's rough. Like the picture quality is not that great, and picture quality of the other sets wasn't that great either. But this was actually a downgrade, at least when it comes to like the earlier seasons. But I'm past the return window, so I can't really do anything when it comes to like a return. So I'm just kind of stuck with this, but I mean, it's fine to have for the collection, and maybe I'll sell it to another seller or something like that down the road. But disappointing. Also, I don't even think it ports over the features that were on the other sets, like the reunion show, but I'm not sure. And last but not least is Invader Zim, the complete invasion. Now, this doesn't have the bonus disc that was exclusive to the limited edition box set. It's out of print. Um, but you can find the stuff from that online through various different sources. And actually, I think I know where I could find the bonus disc. It might not be in the best shape, but what's funny is I saw the bonus disc at Everyday Music in Portland before I found this box set of the series, and I didn't really think about getting the bonus disc because I was like, I don't have the series, so that doesn't really matter. I don't, but then I found the series, and now I'm like, yeah, I wish I kind of got that bonus disc. But yeah, Invader Zim. I haven't watched this show in ages. I do remember watching it on Nickelodeon. I do also remember there being some of the members of my friend group in high school. I remember them being just huge fans of this series. So yeah, definitely looking forward to checking this show out again. And for an older DVD set, this actually looks really good. I checked it out on my 4K TV, and it it upconverted really nicely. It actually looks quite good. But yeah, that's it for the DVDs and the Blu-rays and the 4Ks, and it was like 30 something minutes. But like I said, I don't really have a whole lot to say about trailers, just a little bit. Um, but not a whole lot when it comes to movie trailers. So the first thing I want to talk about is Missing. I just saw that trailer today. Uh, it is a not necessarily a sequel. It's more of a spin-off of Searching. It's from the same people who made Searching, and it's going to be more of the same style and setup as Searching. It doesn't really follow John Cho's character. It has a new character, a new story. It's this girl who is trying to find her missing mother who goes missing, and then there's all this other deeper stuff that's going on and craziness, and as she digs deeper, she reveals all this other stuff that makes her question uh, uh, her mother and her father and all of these other things. And just like Searching, there's a lot of twists, there's a lot of turns, and it has the same structure in terms of following FaceTime conversations or screen recordings of internet searches and so on. And I'm looking forward to it. If it's half as good as Searching, then it'll be a contender for one of the best films of 2023. Violent Night, I did see the trailer for that with David Harbour as Santa Claus who decides to kick some ass and take some names, fight some terrorists. One of the terrorists, I think the lead terrorist, is played by John Leguizamo, which is fun. Fun to see John Leguizamo as a villain, as a bad guy, and it looks like it might have some fun action. And it's an interesting concept for a uh, action film or a Christmas movie. It's not 100% unique because there have been other Santa Claus films where Santa Claus is kicking some butt or whatever, like Santa with Muscles, for instance. But this is definitely going to be better than that piece of shit. So it's still relatively unique enough in comparison to some other things. Um, I also saw. I didn't watch the newest trailer for John Wick 4 because I don't really want to ruin it. I already saw the teaser trailer and that was enough for me. I saw the teaser for The Whale, the next Brendan Fraser film directed by Darren Aronofsky. The film where he got a standing ovation at one of the film festivals that it was showing at. And the trailer didn't really do that much for me. I don't think it's that great of a trailer. It doesn't give away a lot, but there's not much meat on the bone, so to speak. And on top of that, I don't know whether it's the the quality of the footage or something. It's an HD, the trailer, but when you watch it, it looks like it's not even in high definition. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the setup that I have or something. Maybe it's the quality of the trailer that these YouTube channels got access to, but it doesn't really look that good visually. And that's something that is really shocking considering it's directed by Darren Aronofsky. But it's a film that I definitely have on my radar because of Brendan Fraser, and I'm a big fan of his. I've been a big fan of his ever since Encino Man and The Mummy. So it's a film that I'll definitely check out one of these days, but it's not like on my must see list like it is for others. Uh, Another film that I think looks intriguing is Mind Cage. It's a film that's going to be coming out starring Martin Lawrence, who is playing a more serious role here. He's playing the detective. So it's kind of trying to be a little bit like Spiral, where you have a comedian who's playing a more serious role as a detective trying to solve a crime. But this actually looks a little bit more promising because you have John Malkovich in it as the killer who's in prison, and there's a copycat who's going around copying his crimes, and Martin Lawrence and this other lady are trying to stop this copycat, and they get the original killer played by John Malkovich to help them. So yeah, it's kind of a generic take on Silence of the Lambs as well, but having Martin Lawrence there in a serious role, that's enough to pique my interest, as well as the way that the killer goes about. Like the killer kills people and then turns them into these lavish, elaborate sculptures, and visually it looks really interesting when it comes to that aspect of it. So it's a film that I'll check out one of these days as well. I saw the trailer for Christmas Story Christmas, then the newest Christmas Story sequel, and it just looked like more and more nostalgia overload. Like, hey, remember this? Remember these characters from the original Christmas Story? And I don't know, it just didn't really do that much for me. I like the original film, but as the years have gone by, because it's just been so overplayed, I'm not as big of a fan of it as I once was. I honestly prefer other Christmas films to watch than Christmas Story. And this sequel, like, it looks like it could be harmless and okay, but it doesn't really look like it would honestly be anything more than that. that being said, it is nice to see Peter Billingsley again, and it's a film that I'll probably watch one of these days. And I have a lot more hope for this than I do for Hocus Pocus 2, for instance, from what I've heard about that. And speaking of that, I will get around to share my thoughts on that and other crap like the Munsters as well. I don't know if that'll be in November, but I'll definitely try to fit it in the schedule. There's a sequel to Enchanted coming out called Disenchanted. I actually really liked Enchanted. I saw it at a pub. Yeah, it was McMiniman's pub. Like they were showing movies, so you would sit on a couch and you would like eat pizza. And I remember watching it in that theater, and it surprised me. I thought it was actually a pretty fun satire of Disney tropes. This one doesn't look nearly as good though, so I don't know. I'll probably watch it one of these days, but it doesn't really look as clever or as entertaining as the first film was. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Eh, there's a whole lot of for me. Like, I don't know. It just looked like another typical sort of Marvel film. Kang looked like he might be a decent villain, and has some nice visuals, but I just don't know. Like, there wasn't anything about it that really stuck with me. Really made me feel like it's gonna be a must see. Uh, Creed 3, that really, I was not expecting it to be as decent of a trailer as it was. I honestly uh kind of want to see that film. I like the concept. I like the idea of pitting a former friend of Creed's against him, and this whole dynamic of where he was initially the guy who was going to be the next big thing in boxing, but then his own choices in life just screwed him over, and now he's out of prison, and now he's given this opportunity, and now he's wanting to take it out on Creed, because I think Creed was ultimately responsible for sending him to prison. So I like that drama. I like that it's not just Creed going up against Clubber Lang's son, like, Ivan Drago's son in Creed 2. So it feels a little more fresh, a little bit more different when it comes to the franchise. It's a shame that Stallone isn't really involved in it anymore, but he's got his own thing going on with Tulsa King, which is apparently getting some good reviews and is doing all right on streaming. So it's not like Stallone doesn't have his own thing going on right now. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the trailers when it comes to newer stuff, when it comes to upcoming releases. Speaking of Stallone, the Rocky films are finally getting releases in 4K. I've heard announcements of Rocky 1 through 4. I haven't heard anything about 5 and Rocky Balboa, but I'm pretty sure that those are going to come as well from Warner Brothers. I think it's like early 2023. Um, there's a few other things that I think I heard about, but really that's the main thing for me is the Rocky films getting a release. I'll check Dawn of the Discs, their Facebook page, and I'll see if there's anything worth mentioning real quick, and then I'll get to the letter reading. Um, yeah, Dazed and Confused 4K. Don't really care. Don't care about the Adventures of Batman, which is, I think, was like an '80s animated series. Oh yeah, Young Sherlock Holmes. It's finally getting a Blu-ray in 2023. I am really excited about that. The film has its flaws, but I still really enjoy that movie, especially the imagination of that film, and I am really looking forward to getting that on Blu-ray. It's about damn time, because it was stuck on DVD for the longest time, and it's a film to me that deserves better than just being stuck on DVD. Creepshow season 3 is getting a Blu-ray release. I pre-ordered it already because I have the other two seasons, and I watched season 2 streaming like a, like a few months ago, and I don't remember liking it as much as season 1, but I want to give it another shot. And I didn't even bother watching season 3 because I wanted to wait. And now it's getting a Blu-ray, so I'll just wait to watch that when the Blu-ray comes out. Um, just looking through Dawn of the Discs still here, seeing if there's anything else. Oh, I know. Coming out pretty soon is the triple pack that has Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5 on it. Um, I don't think those films are really that great. Oh, I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I guess, is getting a 4K from Dark Sky. So they're releasing a 4K, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to be the same as the Turbine release, like the same transfer, probably most of the same features. But for those of you who don't want to import, that's a good thing. Bloodsport, it's getting a 4K. It's an import. I think it's from Germany. I already pre-ordered it, but it's gonna be a while until it gets here because it's from Germany. Kino Lorber announced Program to Kill, and that's pretty cool. That film hasn't been on. I don't even think that even had a DVD release, so that's finally getting a Blu-ray. Film featuring Robert Ginty and Sandel Bergman, and they're also doing a triple feature box set of the missing in action films, which I think is pretty badass. That's pretty awesome. Now, Scream Factory has announced like some 4Ks that have honestly kind of made me scratch my head. Freaky. It's a film that I did enjoy. I liked it. It's a fun twist on the slasher genre, adding a body swap angle to it. But it's a fairly recent film. It doesn't really need a 4K. It's kind of similar to how I feel about them releasing Happy Death Day films. Although I wouldn't mind getting the 4Ks of all three one of these days for the collection, but I'm not going to spend the price tag that they put on these 4Ks for films that have already had pretty decent Blu-ray releases that look pretty damn good up converted to 4K anyway. Um, and some of their titles that they announced, I don't get at all. Like Ouija, really? Ouija? You're doing a collector's edition of Ouija? That piece of shit, the film that had spooky burners. Oh my god. I just I don't get it. Oh, and I know this cult film, Dr. Calgary, which hadn't been on DVD, is getting a 4K and a Blu-ray from Mondo Macabro. Actually, I already had it because they already dropped it on a Halloween, and I pre-ordered it, but I haven't heard anything from them. I haven't got a shipping notice, absolutely nothing, and it's like almost halfway through November. So maybe they're having an issue. You know, they're a smaller company. They had more sales than they expected or something. But I just it's just up in the air. I'm like, where is it? I don't know. I don't know. I guess maybe it'll be on its way. And I know 88 Films is doing a 4K of Ark of the Sun God for some reason. That crappy Indiana Jones ripoff. That was originally released on VHS by Interglobal Home Video. But yeah, that's it for upcoming releases. Then we have this letter. Um, like I've done before, I'm just gonna quickly skim through it and answer some questions. Starts out talking about the stuff that he sent me in the last vlog that I did. Gives me props for the Karate Kid reviews. Speaking of that, I did see all of Cobra Kai, and sometime in 2023, I will review Cobra Kai. I just wanted to wait a little bit so I'm not burned out on Karate Kid stuff. Um, yes, what do I think makes the Blob and Fly remakes different than the originals compared to the Karate Kid? Exactly what you said here, Jonathan. Like, the originals were fairly cheesy, low budget B movies that could use an update when it comes to the technology or when it comes to other aspects of the story. I don't really feel that way about Karate Kid. Um, I'm definitely glad that Cobra Kai honored and respected Daniel as a character throughout the series, despite a little bit of a rough start to the series when it comes to how they handled his character. Um, they didn't pull a Last Jedi Scream 5. Um, they definitely did take a page more from Blade Runner 2049 or Top Gun Maverick. I haven't seen Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, so I can't really say whether or not it's on par with Cobra Kai. Um, I do definitely don't understand why the Cobra Kai franchise isn't extending to future films. I don't get why Sony's upcoming Karate Kid film is not a Cobra Kai movie. It's a huge missed opportunity. Jonathan mentions the next Ghostbusters film, Ghostbusters Firehouse. Even if they have a new villain, if they don't fix some of the other aspects of the story, then it's not really going to make that much of a difference. Uh, that would be cool though if it had a new villain, but if we're just going off of trends, they'll probably just do Vigo again. Um, yeah, I heard about Julia from the next Karate Kid would be in season 6 of Cobra Kai, but then I also heard that that's kind of a rumor and that's not confirmed, so I don't know for sure about that. Jonathan talks about a few other things that I could do in October, but as you can see, I definitely went a different route. He's talking about some stuff you'd like me to review in November. I'll see. I'll try to fit some of those titles in there. Um, he mentions about the screening that I'm going to see of Suspiria in December, which yeah, I am really looking forward to that because it's going to be a new 4K restoration of the film, or the same 4K restoration, which is gorgeous, and it's going to have a live concert. So it's going to be Goblin performing live at the theater. And it'll actually be my first ever concert experience. I've never been to a concert. So I think it'd be really awesome and really cool for like my first concert experience to be seeing Goblin and seeing them perform their music live and watching Suspiria in the same night. So I'm really, really, really looking forward to that. I already got the time off for both my jobs for that day. I'm just bummed that one of my friends, he's not going to be able to go because the tickets sold out so fast. But I got my ticket, and it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. Hollywood Video. That's a whole other thing. Hollywood Theater has been just awesome. They've come back with a vengeance post COVID. I saw the Evil Dead trilogy in 35 millimeter over there in October, which was an awesome, just amazing experience. And then I also saw the Blob remake recently over there with a friend of mine. I actually saw the Evil Dead trilogy with my friend too, and both days we also went to a couple different shops to pick up some stuff for my collection too. So both days were just awesome, and it was something I definitely needed. After all the health issues that I'm dealing with off and on, and other things that are going on in my personal life. So it was really, really awesome to have that time with my friend and to also see some awesome movies and pick up some more awesome stuff for my collection. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that on the big screen. It's talking about Barbarian. Says that it was something different, and I agree with that. It is something different. I don't think it all panned out, but it's at least something different. Talks about seeing Elvis, which I watched a second time recently in 4K with my parents, and I still like the film, but it's definitely not what I would consider like my favorite film of 2022. Honestly, that still might be the Batman. I really like that film. But I also really liked Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I would really like to get that on 4K. Um, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Yeah, I should probably review that one of these days. I also watched a couple episodes in the new Beavis and Butthead series, and I liked it. So it definitely seems like they stuck to their guns. Like they stuck to what made that show work. They didn't try to do things too differently, like the initial rumors were about Beavis and Butthead being old and it focusing on their kids. I'm really glad that they didn't go that route, and it pays off when it comes to the new reboot show. Um, I have Paramount Plus, so I could probably just catch up on the entire season one of these days. Um, then Jonathan talks about my reviews of Batman Animated Series Part 1, has some thoughts about some of the other episodes in the series. Um, that's a good quote from Tezuka, because he talks about the Underdwellers. Says you can't, you can save cheap animation with a good story, and you can't save good animation with a poor story. Exactly. The animation in that episode was good. At times it was actually great, but the story, not so much. Um, yeah, Two Face is a masterpiece. The two-parter is Heart of Ice is great. Yeah, I agree with everything you said there, and then some about these episodes. Yeah, I've got Batman in my basement. That was terrible. Um, then he talks about like some star ratings from some stuff. Like previously, I'm just gonna send you an email down the road with the star ratings for those titles. Black Phone, uh, out of all the films that I've seen this year, which honestly hasn't been as much as others, probably would be in my top 10 or 15. Um, yeah, Total Recall does, it looks great in 4K. Definitely a lot better than some of the reviews say it does. Yeah, Meet Wally Sparks, not really that great. That's My Boy. Um, then he talks about Marvel and diminishing returns with Thor 4, and I think Wakanda Forever's been doing okay, but it hasn't been like lighting the box office on fire. Little Mermaid remake does look bland. I do think Watchmen movie is a really good film. I don't think it's necessarily better than the graphic novel. It's different. I think it's got a little more satisfying ending. I will say that, but I don't think it's necessarily a better product overall. Um, yeah, I agree about all this other stuff about remakes and so on, and Disney and their politics and all that other nonsense. Um, Zaslav, who's running Warner Brothers, I'm kind of, there are things about him that I like, that he's cutting people out, firing people who are just trying to shove agendas and down people's throats instead of just making good films. But at the same time, he's still a guy that cuts corners and does things in a way that I'm not necessarily a big fan of. Also, with the whole like he's bringing back the Snyderverse, and I know for a lot of people that's to a round of applause, but for me, it's one big giant pile of meh. I was honestly kind of looking forward to seeing what Warner Brothers would do with the DC Cinematic Universe starting over, but now they're going backwards and they're just going back to the Snyderverse, and the Snyderverse is not a well-established universe to begin with. They set it up based on Batman versus Superman with an incredibly weak foundation because they wanted to get to Justice League as fast as possible so that they could get the Avengers money. And they didn't get that as much money. And so it's just a failed foundation. And you're just going back to it. And it's just going to be just as creaky and just as weak as it was before. So I just don't, I'd rather see them start a new universe and use the Batman by Matt Reeves as the jumping off point instead of just going backwards. Henry Cavill is doing another Superman movie, and you're still in the Zack Snyder universe, and we're doing Batfleck, and I'm just like, the Flash probably would have been a mess because it's DC once again trying to cash in on what Marvel is doing without having the right foundation. Oh, now let's just make The Flash the multiverse DC movie. And I'm just like, why do you operate this way? And it just seems like they're just going to operate the same way with Zaslav, but this time things will be, I guess, less woke. But it's not like the DC films were really that woke to begin with, except for maybe Birds of Prey or the Batgirl movie that probably will never get released. But I guess maybe Wonder Woman 1984 had some stuff like that too. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I just would have preferred a clean slate, honestly, when it comes to DC. But that's just me. Then Jonathan talks about Subway and something that they were doing about some athlete who was woke or whatever. All right. Then he's talking about some other things, some other films that I could potentially talk about. And yes, I did hear about Company of Wolves getting a 4K from Scream Factory. Definitely would like to pick that up someday. Piranha might be nice, but I'm actually okay with my Steelbook right now. The Steelbook Blu-ray. Because it's not a film that really needs to be in 4K. Rollerball, that'd be pretty cool. But I'm still all right with the Blu-ray for right now from Arrow Video. But anyway, that's it for this vlog. I know it's been over an hour, but it's been a while. It's been a while since I did a vlog last, and you could put it on in the background, like it's kind of a podcast or something. But anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, as always, I'll see you later.